Last year, my wife has reminded me about that other meeting of commitment. Commenting on this year's travails, my wife Nellie has periodically acquainted me with all of this. Despite all our issues this year, thanks primarily to Troy and our unbelievably dedicated staff, I'm calling out Suzanne especially, for all the work that's been done. This has been a year, truly a year of accomplishment. Despite all our issues, looking at our building fund with an eye toward purchasing our own site for our Albany headquarters, we faced real economic reality and concluded, again, thank you, Dr. Murray, for all your help in this matter. Really. We faced real issues and concluded that rental was a better fiscal option for us. In the process, Troy and I actually got thrown out of one potential space, but we both remarked that we've both been thrown out of better places than that. Ultimately, we will be moving into our new space, hopefully come August, and meet our new neighbors,
I have tremor, so I can.
the nurses, at 1199 SEIU. This should prove very interesting and enlightening in view of our future goals.
Can I ask you to hold it?
I pray that some of our
I'm just
their
coming back
union
in there.
fervor will rub off
Sure.
on us.
I have tremors. I can't.
After many years of head fakes and indecision, we finally agreed to bring our MISNY database and website into the 21st century. Look for great things in the coming year. You might actually even be able to find some of these policies. This past year, we said goodbye to some familiar MISNY stalwarts, most notably Christina Southern, Regina McNally, and Steve Sachs. Thanks, folks. Thank you very much. We also saw two major new hires, Valerie Camiso and Heather Lopez. Valerie, you've seen around taking pictures everywhere, is working feverishly to increase membership and smooth the many bumps in that road. Membership should be and always will be job one. The new database will be key in that effort. Members have already seen the benefits of Heather's battles with the insurers. We recently had a thankful email from a physician for whom Heather was able to accomplish the seemingly impossible, over $200,000 payment from an insurance company to a doctor that had been faced with this timeless and endless battle of attrition and trying to jump more high hurdles than Edward Moses did in 1976. Believe me, this is not just a feather in our cap. Folks, that's the whole damn headdress. We can and will build on these accomplishments. You heard from Dr. Chabra earlier. This job and these accomplishments only begin. Finally, thanks to the efforts of our team, we have new counsel, David Boza of Norris McLaughlin. We're elated. David was part of the firm of Kern Augustin, so welcome back home, Mr. Boza. Reflecting on this past year, I offer that most, if not all, of our travails are self-inflicted wounds. You've heard from Dr. Mehta and Dr. Sellers. I would like to add an exclamation point. We spend so much time and effort fighting amongst ourselves. Can you imagine? We have real enemies out there. Doctors aren't getting paid, and yet we are arguing about and/or. Really? With all those outside of our profession, secretly, or in many cases, not so secretly, looking to us to fail, We still have a propensity to shoot ourselves in the foot, and occasionally in the femoral artery. This year, even one of our past presidents resigned. Can you imagine? Resigned. Disgusted with all the intimacy in politics and warfare. I remind you all again of Benjamin Franklin's comments on signing the Declaration. We must all hang together, for assuredly we will all hang separately. So don't give him the rope, folks. I leave you now, as I did when I gave my inauguration speech a few years ago, in those heady years BC, before COVID. Paraphrasing the words of the bard, we few, we happy few, we band of doctors. Excelsior.
Thank you, Dr. Faulkner, for the yeoman's work that you have done over the past year. We appreciate it so much. Now I'd like to ask our EVP, Mr. Troy Oshner, to give a little talk. Those of you that attended the festivities last evening may have seen, gotten a quick peek at the very accomplished dancing ability of our
video, don't
our EVP. Now, if you did not see that, I recorded a video. You can use. But no, it was great fun, and thank you, Troy. We appreciate what you've done over the past year. Please address us. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker and Vice Speaker. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you all. My voice is still a little rugged from that chicken dance, and I'll get to the chicken dance in a second. But I often tell stories about my kids, and so I'm skipping over turning into my father. I'm turning into my grandfather now and repeating stories. So apologies if you've heard this before. But my son Max, when he was little, went to the pediatrician, and the nurse said, "Please take off your shirt." He did not want to take off his shirt. So, "What's the deal, Max?" It turns out he was wearing a Spider-Man suit underneath. And I said, "Dude, what's with the Spider-Man suit?" He said, "You know that with great power comes great responsibility." And true story. But really, all of you have great power and great responsibility, and I want to thank each and every one of you, obviously for your commitment to Disney and the organization, but also for your work out there. You are the heroes of the pandemic, but you're also heroes of healing every day. And for those of you, I know most of you, but I don't know everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I spent 30 years in state government, about half at the Attorney General's office, suing insurers for illegal and deceptive business practices, worked very closely with Disney, and then became the head insurance regulator in the state. Again, giving insurers a hard time, working very closely with Disney. And I took this job because after retiring, because I really believe in what the mission here and what we're doing here. And when I first took the job just over a year ago, let's be honest, there's a lot of challenges to the organization. We've had a declining number